Ah, there you are. I'm just genning up on the next item. David Moore is here from Astronomy Ireland. You're welcome, as always, David.
Thank you very much indeed.
And I do like this magazine. It's very intriguing, to say the least.
Well, we're very proud of it, and there's just so much happening in space. We like to put all the latest full-colour photographs in there to wow people, and then tell them a bit about what's going on behind all these pretty pictures.
Well, there's so much happening out there, and anybody who wants to know anything about what's happening in space always calls you. You must never sleep at any radio stations, newspapers looking for tips. Always ring you, don't they?
Well, this is our 20th year, so we've got nearly 100 volunteers around the country to help run the organisation, and a staff back at our head office in Dublin. And in fact, there'll be a sun show every Saturday during the month of August, because the sun is increasing in activity, and we recently had some sunspots that are bigger than the Earth. These are giant storms on the sun. You shouldn't look at the sun with the eye or with any binoculars yourself. It's very dangerous. You can be blinded. But we have special telescopes that are filtered. People who can get along to Dublin at least can go along there every Saturday, 1 o'clock in August, and have a look at the sun in safety.
And is that's signalled on the website as well, is it?
It is, yeah. Astronomy.ie is our website. Very simple. And you'll find all the events there. In fact, you can sign up as a friend, completely free of charge. And if you want to get the magazine, it's our 20th year. We have a special offer, and I think it only costs 55 cents per week. Who can afford 55 cents a week?
Well, I have a list of things here that I want to get through. We've done sun shows. I want you to move on then to the things that you're rather famous for, your public lectures. And there's one coming up very soon.
Yes, and they're all put on DVD for everybody in the country, or if you can't get along on the night yourself. The next one is very interesting, because we've all heard about the billions of euros that's been spent by the world's top scientists smashing bits of atoms together on the French-Swiss border, this Large Hadron Collider, the LHC. And they're hoping to probe the inner workings of matter and prove the theories of the universe. Turns out the Irish have been doing a bigger experiment for longer at even higher speeds. It's a little-known thing that runs over in the Arizona desert, and it's done in conjunction with the Americans, but there are particles from space that naturally hit the Earth at even higher speeds than the controlled reactions they're having in Europe. And Irish people have been using these collisions to study what's going on with the universe, where do these things get created, and what kind of things can we learn about matter itself. So it's a bit of a coup for us, and anyone wants to know more about that and the workings of matter should come along to Trinity College on Monday, it's the 8th of August, and everybody is welcome. And if you can't get along, there's the DVD as well. Dr. John Quinn from University College Dublin is the expert behind it all.
This whole thing about matter is very frightening, though, isn't it? Is this like the Big Bang all over again?
It is. I mean, if you think about it, every atom in our bodies are made of the same stuff, the same basic building blocks, and the whole fabric of space-time itself is obviously a very real thing. It's something we don't worry about in our everyday lives. Yeah. But all the technology we use to make this show possible in our modern lives is all based on what happens on the very tiny scale. If things happen the same way as they do on a big scale, if things moved around like cars and footballs and billiard balls and all that kind of thing, if that happened at small scale, we wouldn't have computers or the entire electronics industry. Something really weird happens, and trying to probe that, I think, is absolutely fascinating.
And what are your hopes for that? What's the best thing that can come out of the Hadron, say, for example?
Well, over the past few years, or decades, we've seen, in fact, you go back about a century, we figured out there were atoms. Then we figured out the atoms were made of electrons and protons. Then they started to look inside protons. Now they're looking inside that. And we have this theory that links everything in the universe, the forces that hold atoms together, and the ultimate theory is to link gravity into that as well. Gravity is a very strange force. A fridge magnet can overcome the force of attraction of the whole planet Earth and stick to the fridge without falling down. Why is magnetic force so much stronger than gravity? This is a big puzzle for scientists, and it could have lots of applications, but at least would explain to us how the universe formed, perhaps, and what it all means maybe one day.
I'm going to take you to outer space, where you actually love being, I know. There's a coming together of some planets coming up as well.
Yeah, there's loads of things to see in the sky. Jupiter is at its closest for 12 years, but before that, over in the west where the sun goes down, if you look very low down, you'll see a brilliant star. It's the planet Venus. Now, it's bowing out of the evening sky over August, but it's worth looking at because next to it are Mars and Saturn, and we have some diagrams showing that. They're in the magazine as well. If you go onto our website and become a friend free of charge, we'll be sending out details as well. But that's happening this week, and in fact, on the night of the lecture, August 9th, there'll be the three planets will make a pretty sight in the evening sky, and on the 17th of August, Venus passes closest to Mars. Now, it's only line of sight effect, but it looks quite spectacular in the sky, so we want to alert people to that. And then Jupiter, it's rising over in the east. You'll see it about 11 o'clock in the evening. It's getting earlier and earlier because this year it comes closer to us than it ever will for 12 more years. So if you've got a telescope, use it on Jupiter. You can see its disk and cloud belts and moons. If you haven't got a telescope, call Astronomy Ireland. We run the biggest telescope shop in the country. We give you lots of free advice if you have a telescope already, or recommend one to you.
By Jupiter, I'll make a note of that. We have a star barbecue as well.
Yeah, the biggest astronomy festival of the year is our Starbecue, a barbecue under the stars. We're inviting everybody in the country to come along. It's in the Wicklow Mountains in Roundwood, in the highest village in Ireland. The skies there are jet black, and we bring along the most powerful telescopes in the country. And the views you will get through that, even some people interested in astronomy for decades, have never seen the views like this. The star clusters, there's galaxies. Jupiter, of course, will be a special attraction. Even the International Space Station will fly over. There's the barbecue, there's fire jugglers, there's lots of talks. It's a great big festival running for one evening only. And if you book it in the next few days, there's a special rate applies. And after that, then it's running on September the 4th, so for the rest of the month. Please tell all your friends and family to come along. We've had nearly 1,000 people at it in the past.
Fantastic. And if I promise to go along, would you organise a shooting star for me by any chance?
Well, we'll certainly see a few, because on any dark night from a dark sky like that, you'll see one every 10 minutes on average. But if you want to see 20 times more, August the 12th is the night, because one of the best shooting star showers of the year, it's called the Perseids, peaks that particular night. But for a few nights before and after, the rates will be dramatically more than normal. And on our website, we're asking people just simply to count how many you see every 15 minutes, and at the end of the night or next day, just click onto the website astronomy.ie and tell us how many you saw, and we'll be able to compare the shower to see is it getting stronger or weaker as the years go on. You'll actually be contributing scientifically valuable information just by standing up there, and every time you go, wow, counting one more.
And make sure you stay off the jar that night, please, because this has to be accurate. Scientific knowledge is all we're looking for. Just very briefly then, David, bring us up to date on the International Space Station.
Yeah, this happened toward the end of the month. It'll be back in the evening skies from August the 26th until September the 9th, which means it'll actually fly over our Starbecue on September the 4th. It'll be a different time every evening. You can get predictions for it on the internet, or if you want them sent to your mobile phone, all you have to do is text the word space to 57003. You can do that now, and at the end of August the texts will start coming through. They cost €1 per day, and the proceeds help us to run Astronomy Ireland.
David Moore, as always, enchanting, intriguing. Thank you very much indeed for being with us.
My pleasure.
Olive will be here tomorrow night, and she will be looking at alternative health, so make sure you don't miss that. See you soon.